How would you feel safe in a nation if everybody decides to walk with the pangas, to walk with machetes, if everyone decides to be armed throughout the day because of the anticipatory attack from unknown aggressors? How could your name be mentioned in multiple Goons activities, then you come and try to defend him? In fact, as we speak, Raymond Omolo by now should have resigned. Who is to benefit from all this violence? Who is trying to prove a point? Do you mean that if your person get involved in criminal activities and they hold high office in government, they should never be responsible of their actions? Is that what you mean? Do you mean they can go ahead, commit every atrocities they think without being challenged by the laws of the land? There's nobody who owns monopoly of violence in this nation, and the recent attacks on the senator of Vihiga, Godfrey Osostsi, is something that should be condemned in the highest terms possible. And I'm happy that some leaders have taken up to the task and done so. However, I've seen some leaders like the Homa Bay guy, Peter Kaluma, that MP, who is saying that their son is being attacked. How could your name be mentioned in multiple Goons activities, then you come and try to defend him? In fact, as we speak, Raymond Omolo by now should have resigned, because there is no way the DCI are saying they are conducting investigations of someone who has been accused of handling such activities, and you want to tell us it will be a conclusive investigation and justice be reached. That can never happen. As we are concerned, it is the PS Raymond Omolo who is heading that institution. So how would you conduct investigations with a person inside it? What kind of justice are you trying to tell us you are going to give us? There is none. There is none. And as I said, you are slowly turning this nation into Haiti. This is how small gangs, first we saw them through the demonstrations back then in 2024. We saw people with djembe pins trying to walk hand by hand with policemen in the name of containing the demonstrations. Since when did Goons start working hand in hand with policemen? Whatever happened in Kisumu should not only happen to the leaders, but also to a common mwananchi, because people will take this matter unto their own hands and people shall start defending themselves. How would you feel safe in a nation if everybody decides to walk with the pangas, to walk with machetes, if everyone decides to be armed throughout the day because of the anticipatory attack from unknown aggressors? If you cannot handle sentiments from your enemy or sentiments from your competitor in politics, you better pull down from politics, because emotional intelligence is something that is very key while doing politics. If somebody is not subscribing to the ideologies in which you are fronting, that is not a person whom you should be attacking. That is not a person whom you should be trying to end their lives, like we see what you're doing to Senator Osostsi. Furthermore, this person was removed as the deputy party leader at the fake SNDC that was organized in Bomas. And he came clearly and said, fine, I don't want to talk about ODM because that is giving them mileage. I have agreed. I'm not going to contest this. It is okay. Whoever they want to be the deputy party leaders, so be it. And all in all, there is this vital question that we are asking. Who is to benefit from all this violence? Who is trying to prove a point? You know, there is something that happened in 2007 in this country called Kenya, post-election violence. And it started with the notion of our people are being attacked. Now, it has also started in small segments that our person is being attacked. Now, do you mean that if your person get involved in criminal activities and they hold high office in government, they should never be responsible of their actions? Is that what you mean? Do you mean they can go ahead, commit every atrocities they think without being challenged by the laws of the land? You are privy that the nation sovereignty belongs to the people. But even the people have a set of rules, governance that guides them. You know, where my rights end, it's where somebody else's rights begin. Yes, I have a right and freedom of speech. I have right of association, a right of movement. But the moment I'm using that right to infringe somebody else's right, that is where my right ends. And that is why we have the Constitution to govern us in the right direction. That is why when demand for the PS Raymond Omolo to resign is initiated, it is nothing personal. It is something that is set to have justice prevail in the nation, lest we plunge these nations unto the dogs. Because these small gangs that even Orengo says he had a taste of it the moment President visited Usenge. These people are being organized in small cabals, and they are working hand in hand with the security officials. That is not something to take lightly. And Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino did state clearly that he is ready to challenge the PS in court. He is ready to cross-examine him in court if anybody thinks whatever he is saying is just pure propaganda. Yesterday, he even mentioned names of these gang members who are being used allegedly by the PS to cause mayhem to leaders who seem not to subscribe to the ideologies of other politicians. He said yes, he is ready to cross-examine them should anybody think that this is pure propaganda. And I can attest to you, most of those names that were mentioned, trust me, Kisumu residents, if you're a person who interacts with the streets, whether you are in Kondele, whether you're in Bungela Mwananchi back in town, you'll attest that those names are not new to the ears. And whenever violence occurs, those names will always be mentioned, meaning this is something that they have made a prior decision to be doing in favor of their master, which in this case it is alleged to be Raymond Omolo, the PS. Now, through this, Edwin Sifuna did say that after the Linda Mwananchi rally in Nakuru, they are going to be headed to Kisumu, and if the state wants to kill them, let it do so. Yesterday, Bob Owino did say, after Nakuru confirmed what Sifuna said, we are coming to Kisumu. Yes, nobody should be restricted from walking in any part of this nation, as that freedom is provided for in the Constitution, well enshrined and articulated. We should be worried. We should be worried with the caliber of leaders that we are electing into leadership positions. And on these, I also blame the president. The buck stops with him, and if he cannot do something, it is surprising that we are taking Kenyan troops to maintain peace and order, to destabilize gangs in Haiti, yet we are creating such in this nation. At this juncture, I would believe Rigathi Gachagua when he says maybe they are going to benchmark on how gangs are formed, gangs operate, so that they come and initiate it in this country. Nothing more, nothing less. What's your take? Give me your thought in the comment section below. If you're watching from my YouTube channel, consider subscribing and press notification button so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Dub Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Dub Radio ndio mpango mzima.